Jumbo and hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Safari Mack in Africa, where I'm your guide and your host helping you make connections to the wild. For those who joined me for yesterday's episode, you know that I said that my video unfortunately was very glitchy due to technical difficulties. I am happy to report that these technical issues have been resolved, and I wanted to give you folks a better, more updated, reloaded version of African Elephant Part 2. So with that said, let's just jump right in. Let's start off with the wild things. Now, for a long time, for people who studied elephants, we always believed that the elephant either communicated through trumpeting, growls, rumbles, roars, barks, and other kinds of loud vocalizations. It turns out that we were wrong. In the 1980s, biologists discovered that elephants also emit a very low-frequency sound that most humans can't even hear. So this enables them, it can travel very far and wide, and this is how we were able to answer questions such as, how were elephants able to keep in contact with one another even if they were so far away, even if they were beyond the range of being able to hear their own trumpets? It also helped us answer how bulls that live alone or live in bachelor groups can hear who, with the females, who is ready to become a mother or who's ready to breed. Now, let's continue on. Let's talk about two of their most characteristic features, their trunk and their tusks. Now, the trunk, believe it or not, is actually part nose and part upper lip, a mass of 40,000 separate muscles, strong enough to either break down trees or even be able to pluck a single leaf from a tree. And a lesser known difference between Africans and Asians is that Asians have a single finger, which is enables them to pick things up, but it's kind of difficult. They have to really work with their trunk to be able to pick things up efficiently. While Africans have two fingers, and because of this additional finger, they can pick up anything from tiny seeds to a flower. They can even pick up a paintbrush, and while not exactly paint a picture like Picasso, they're able to create their own masterpieces, especially if you see them at the zoo or or at an elephant sanctuary. Now, another stunning feature, of course, is the tusks. Now, the tusks are actually just their upper incisor teeth, as most of their eating is thanks to their molars, which they can go through 6 sets of molars throughout their entire lives. Now, like I said, the tusks are just their upper teeth. Now, believe it or not, just as we humans are left or right-handed, me being a right-handed person, the elephant is also left or right tusked, and the shorter of the two can help us indicate which one does the most work. Now, typically, this is also done through activities such as digging for roots or for salts and minerals in the ground, carving in clay pits, or even stripping bark off of trees. Now, typically, an elephant's tusk can grow up to 6 feet long and weigh almost 50 pounds, but there are some elephants that can grow even bigger tusks, and this is usually typically found in males. Males usually have the larger tusks, while females tend to have shorter. Now, some males are known to be called tuskers, so these tusks can grow up to 12 feet long, even be able to almost touch the ground, and could weigh up to 100 pounds each. So this is an animal that's carrying almost 200 pounds worth of teeth. That's right. Now, once a long time ago, they were more widespread, but today there are only said to be around three or four dozen of these animals left in the world alive today, with the majority of them being located in Kenya, in East Africa. Now, another special thing about elephants is that elephants, whether they are African or they are Asian, they are what you call a keystone species. Now, what that means is that this is a creature that what they do affects the entire environment all around, not just the ecosystem, but also the other animals. So for the African elephant, because they coexist with many other kinds of grazing animals, they're responsible for keeping the woodlands in check. So they can't, the grazers, they can't live in the woodlands. They need to have grass readily available. But there's more special services that they provide. If you remember how I said in my previous episode that they don't really digest all their food, so it turns out an elephant could eat many different kinds of seeds and fruits, and when they go to the bathroom, those seeds can pass through their digestive system completely unchanged. And because of this, new growth, new plants, whether it's bushes or trees, can appear. And this is what helps keep the savannas in check. They do other special features. For example, because of their broad feet and because they travel in great herds, they are known to create new pathways for other animals, even other elephant herds, to take on migration for thousands of years. Now, unfortunately, just like every creature on Earth, these animals are facing problems every day. One of the biggest dangers for African elephants is poaching. Hunters, the same outlaws that are killing that kill rhinos, leopards, tigers, and many other animals for skins or body parts. In this case, it's their tusks. But why has ivory, or what has been commonly called white gold, been such an admired thing in the human race? For thousands of years, ivory was used to create special works of art. It was also used to create chess pieces, piano keys, and different kinds of jewelry, even necklaces. Now, for a long time, it was readily available, but today's demand threatens the elephant's survival. Despite bans on the exporting of ivory as well as the burning of confiscated ivory from poachers, they are still slaughtered to continue to satisfy the human's desire for white gold. In fact, it's so highly valuable considered that a single ounce of ivory could fetch around $3,000 on the underground market. That's right, $3,000. But it gets worse. Another problem that elephants are facing is loss of habitat and conflicts with humans. So, as you can see, as the humans continue to grow and feed their families, they're crossing into more wild places, and this can affect them. So, in terms of finding food or giving them the amount of space. So, as you can see, this farmer is trying to keep the crops safe, but the elephant is trying to get lunch too. And this can lead to confrontations that not only elephant lives are lost, but human lives are lost as a result. And as they continue to push boundaries, they're just losing more and more space, and they're having to come into more closer contact with humans than maybe they would like to. Thankfully, we are doing our part to help save Africa's gentle giant. One of the ways, if you remember from my previous episode of the rhino, African rangers and many other forms of local authorities are being trained to help protect these creatures in their national parks from poachers, as well as keep the human wildlife conflict down. And in fact, it's so dedicated. These people are so dedicated. Game wardens have given their own lives just to protect these magnificent creatures from poachers. It really shows true dedication when you see it. But there's another way that we're helping. The human conflict, it's getting better. For example, instead of working against nature, they're learning to work with it. So a hotel was once built over an elephant's migration route to fruiting trees. So instead of the elephants actually going around the hotel, they're actually going right through the lobby, as you can see. But the humans don't mind, and the elephants don't threaten the people either. They just pass through, and it's been drawing major attention. Another great way of reducing the conflict is with the farmers. So in the past, the way would be either through elephant-proof ditches or electric fences, but those are kind of expensive in those countries. So instead, conservationists and farmers have come up with a better way. They create a bee-line fence. So what do I mean? These are fences that are connected by wire and all surrounded with beehives. As it turns out, elephants are scared of bees because they can fly up their trunks and sting them, as well as sting their ears. So these are the most sensitive areas. So by making these fences around their crop area, the elephants are deterred from coming near that because they don't want to get stung. So the elephants don't have to be killed or have to get hurt. The humans don't have to get hurt. They can keep their crops safe. And they can even sell an extra buck off of the honey that they get. So it's only thanks to people like you who care about these animals that we can continue, that these creatures will continue to survive for the next 100 years. Thank you all once again for tuning in to this reloaded version. And as always, be sure to hit the like and subscribe button, check out my Facebook page, send me an email, And be sure to join me this week for the African buffalo. Till then, this is Safari Mack. I'll see you out there in the wild.